pomegranate and wheatgrass. Can you say pomegranate? Morgan, why don't you take your bowl and you post it at your table? Okay? So Mommy can do her video. Okay? Okay. Alright guys, so I wanted to film this update video. It's been a lovely long day, but I want to get this off of my chest because I'm sure you guys might be wondering what's going on right now. So as you know, my last cycle was horrible. It went really bad, and I don't know where to begin. So my cycle went really bad. I used the birth control and I believe it over suppressed my ovaries, and so I didn't produce as many follicles as I should have. After that, I was talking to the nurse and I was explaining to her about my late follicle situation, and she said, well, your estrogen is elevated right now. You're gonna get your menstrual cycle in 2 weeks. At that time, give us a call. You know, your estrogen will still be elevated. You can start your next cycle. So I was all for it. Actually, the place that I went to, it's called CNY, and it's in Albany. They have IVF pretty cheap. That's why I switched from my old doctor there, because I ran into some financial situation, and you know, my old doctor is very expensive. So I started going to the CNY. So fast forward, that was my third cycle of doing stems, and my second cycle I actually went to retrieval, but I had 5 follicles and they only got 1 egg and it didn't fertilize. It was a disaster. So their price is $4,000 for the retrieval and transfer. Even just the retrieval is $4,000. It's just $4,000. But you can finance it over a 2-year period, and the interest and everything that puts an extra $1,000 on it. So it's $5,000. So after I had that retrieval, that was a disaster. They came to me like a week or 2 later, and they messaged me in the patient portal telling me that since my retrieval I didn't get anything fertilized, they will give me another retrieval for $1,000 if I paid up front. So I'm like, hey, that's great. I felt it actually made me feel a lot better. So I paid the $1,000 for the retrieval. So actually right now I have another retrieval that's already paid for and waiting for me. But I think that at this point I'm going to switch back to my old doctor, just because I feel that my other doctor tailors things a little bit more to me. Like the CNY, and I'm going to make another video going more in depth with how the CNY procedures are. Now, don't get me wrong, the CNY is an amazing place. I would definitely recommend it to anyone. So what I'm going to do, you know, financially, it's not easy for me to go back to my old doctor, but what I've been thinking about and I've decided to do is to take a loan out of my 401k to go back to my old doctor. Now, not everybody has the luxury of being able to do that. I don't know if you call it a luxury, because I wish I didn't have to. I wish I just had it, but I don't have it like that. So, but not everybody even has a 401k to take the money out of. So if you don't have the money, you want more bagels? If you don't have the money, the CNY is, as I was saying, not everybody has that option. So the CNY is an amazing place. Everybody's super friendly. You know, it's a reasonable, the IVF prices are the lowest I've ever seen. They don't take any money up front. They don't run you credit, nothing. You just pay $200 a month, and that is amazing for women, because it's so hard and it's so expensive, and it's just unbelievably great that there's a place that you can go. And I don't even think they go by age. I think you have to be like 60 for them to cut you off or something like that. So it's a great place. But the issue that I had is that with the CNY, now there's been a lot of women there, because I belong to a Facebook group for the CNY. There's been a lot of women that have gotten pregnant. They all have a plethora of reasons why. But for women with my situation, they have one protocol. And it just seems like they just do the same protocol over and over and over, just to see when it'll stick, you know, throw it against the wall and see what sticks every single time. Which honestly, I'm sure that at some point, if I keep doing it over and over and over again, it is going to work. But I feel like I'm a little too impatient for that. You know, I'm 40 years old. I don't have that much time. And I'm scared that at some point I'm just going to get so discouraged and like give up. So my other doctor, what she does is, you know, the stems that you take, every time I do a cycle, she gives me a different cocktail. And she tries to tailor it to what went wrong in the previous cycle. So she actually doesn't like doing the same thing over and over again. She likes to switch it up, see what works and what doesn't work. So there's a certain protocol that works better for me. And I know it does because I've used it and I've been doing it for a long time. So, you know, the doctor at the CNY, I explained that to him, and you know what the protocol is that works for me, and he feels that his protocol is better. And that it will work eventually. And the last conversation that we had, we kind of had this back and forth thing, as I explained to him what the protocol I want, and then he tries to convince me that it doesn't make any sense. Which I'm not a doctor, I can't debate, you know, why it works, but I just know it works. And he doesn't want to do it. He wants me to just keep doing the same thing over and over again, getting these lead follicles, and I just feel like I'm wasting my time a little bit. So me and him go back and forth. So the last back and forth me and him had, I wanted to take estrogen as a primer, and he, you know, my other doctor, they use patches, he used pills. I felt one was more potent than the other. And then he goes, and then the birth control pill came up, and he said something along the lines of, oh, you won't get a lead follicle with that. So I feel like he kind of knew that it was going to over suppress my ovaries, and it was just the way he said it. So, you know, I feel like if you're my doctor, you're supposed to be in my corner. Don't tell me to do something to prove yourself right or out of spite. I don't know why he did it. I don't know why he said that. Maybe just to, I'm thinking that the reason why he said that was just to get me to stop asking for him to do it a certain way. Just let him do it his way. And he won. I'm not going to ask him anymore. But I just didn't like that. I mean, if you know, the medicine that you need to do for a cycle is so expensive. So for him to just take it so lightly to try to prove a point, and I went through like $2,000 worth of medicine at least. You know, it's not funny. It's not, I don't know. So there's other doctors at the CNY. I can switch doctors. I don't have to stay with the same person. But, you know, I just felt like, I don't know. So, you know, I felt long and hard, and I came up with the idea of taking the money out of my... Morgan, you alright? So, I actually came up with the idea of taking the money out of my another loan out of my 401k, and my old doctor, she's so backed up, I have to wait a month to get a consultation. So my consultation is about a week and a half away, and once I have the consultation, I'm probably going to start priming right away, I hope. So that's where I am right now. That's my update. I'm going back to my old doctor. Also, you know, I was having a conversation with my sister, and you know, I have this thing about this whole cycle is that I don't want to have any regrets, and I was thinking that I would do IVF for another year, and if it didn't work, then I would do donor eggs, which I'm not crazy about donor eggs, but I don't know, I feel like once you carry the baby and once you're holding the baby in your arms, you're not going to care. If that's my only option, then fine. But, so I was talking to my sister and I was explaining this to her, but I felt like, say I was at the CNY for the hospital, the doctor in Albany, with them for a year, and this didn't work, and I decided to do a donor egg. Would I feel like if I would have went to my old doctor, she would have been able to get me pregnant using my own eggs? And that answer was yes. If I stayed at the CNY doing that same protocol over and over again and it hasn't worked yet, which I know eventually will work, but it might be longer than a year, would I, in the back of my head, be thinking, okay, it's because I went to the CNY that now I have to use a donor egg? You know, that would always be in the back of my head. So once I actually that was what is the biggest factor that made me go back to my old doctor and figure out a way to get the money to go back. Because like I said, at the CNY, I could have switched doctors, anything, but that was the biggest thing. I don't want to have any regrets. So if I give it another year and another try, and I'm at my old doctor, then I feel much more confident, because my old doctor is the IRMS, by the way, and I feel like she is the best. You know, my sister used her, I used her for Morgan. She, like I said, she tailors my stems each time I have it to try and combat what went wrong the last time. Also, you know, I'm going to the morning monitoring. If my follicles are growing too fast or too slow, she will change up my protocol in the middle of a cycle to accommodate what's going on. The CNY, they don't do that. Like I said, they just do the same protocol over and over and over again. And eventually it'll stick, but who knows how many times that will be. And, you know, who has that much time? At a certain point, you kind of start losing hope and you get discouraged. So, anyway, so that's where I am right now. So, I'm waiting for the loan to process, and that should process by maybe the end of next week. Today's Saturday, so maybe the end of next week, early the week after, or early in the week after. And then my consultation with Dr. Chan is a week and a half away. So once I have the consultation with her, I will let you guys know what she says and what I'm going to be priming with, and what protocol I'm going to be on. I'll let you guys know everything. So it took a month to get a consultation with my old doctor, and what I've been doing is, for this month, I actually decided to go back to the gym. This is the second weekend that I've been working out. You know, it's kind of, you're not really supposed to work out hard while you're doing stems because it enlarges your organs. So if I'm going to be going back to the gym, it's going to have to be when I'm not on stems. So I'm going now, and I'm not really a fan of stopping and starting, but I'm going to do, you know, what I need to do. It keeps me sane. You know, I have this little bit of period in between, a month in between cycles, so please, you know, leave comments below. Please subscribe, give this a thumbs up, and push the bell notification so you know when I upload a new video. Thank you for watching.